Hey, here we are, week 3, right? We got a lot going on. We're going to do chapter 2 this week, and one announcement that's important: tutoring starts this week. All right, we've got an excellent tutor, and she usually holds tutoring the night before projects are due. All right, and so that tutoring goes on in Childs 225, our computer lab, and it's usually from 6 to 8 at night. And to figure out whether or not there's going to be a tutoring session, when that's going to be, you want to go over to Canvas, all right, and take a look at this link right here on course information, the tutoring schedule. Click on that. It'll show you a calendar view of all the times that she'll be there in Childs 225, and you can go there and get help with the homework project that's due the following morning. Right. So, hey, week 1 grades are posted. That's because they always go up a week late, right? So Friday of week 2, I went and captured all of the grades from my IT lab and worked that data and moved those grades over to Canvas. So now you can look at all of that, right? So you do need to look at that. Go to Canvas now and look at your week 1 grades. If you believe there's an error there in the gradebook, you need to email me with a really good description of what's going on, okay? And what do I mean by a really good description? Here's an example of a really good email, right? You say, hey, I did not have any My IT Lab points on Canvas, right? I had a 0 on this project, and if I look on My IT Lab, I see I've got 88%, right? I had a 0 on Canvas for Chapter 1 simulation also, but My IT Lab says I had 27 out of 27. This helps me a lot because I can just believe you to begin with and just make these changes, all right? But it helps me figure out what's going on. If you just email me and you say, hey, my grades are wrong on Canvas, that's not going to work for me, all right? There's 440 students in this class and I can't just try and go and do all that investigation. You already looked at it, so give me the information that I need to make those corrections, all right? Help me out and write a good email to me, all right? So if you look at it and you see that there's a problem there and you write me, you just tell me that, I'm going to believe you, all right? I have no reason to distrust you. Just tell me the corrections that I need to make so that we can get this thing done, all right? So try and make it easy for me. Another example, right, is just to say something like this, right? I have a 13 on Canvas for the Chapter 1 simulation and a 13 on my IT lab for the simulation, right? I emailed you about being sick that day and I expected to get 27 points, right? The full points. And so obviously I just forgot to write that down or just forgot to give you the full points. So you just give me a really good email like this and that states the problem, what the solution is, and how I can help you, and I'll just take care of that, all right? So this is a really good practice for this class and just in life in general. In your professional communications, you'll get a lot better response from people if you let them know what the problem is, what the solution is, how they can help you, all in one really nice compact email. So try and do that for me and I'll get those taken care of right away. So look at your week 1 grades. If you have any problems, email me and let me know what the problem is and what the solution is, and I'll get right on it. Okay? So just in general for this class, you should be observing that there's a basic value proposition going on here, all right? And that's that you're going to do lots of practice. You're going to get lots of feedback from me and from my IT lab, right? It's a pass, no pass class, right? And so you just need to be doing the activities, all right? Don't dwell on the points, all right? My IT lab isn't that great of a grading system, right? It makes a lot of mistakes. That doesn't matter. You're going to have plenty of points to pass this class just by getting all of this stuff done, right? And then for those points that you are being graded down wrong on, use your reflections and corrections, that system we looked at in class last week. Use that, turn those in every Sunday night so you can get your points back. But in general, just focus on getting the assignments turned in and keeping less than 4 zeros in the gradebook throughout the entire term, and we're going to be just fine, and you'll pass this class with flying colors. Right? You may be encountering still problems with whatever hardware you're using, right? This course was built for Excel 2013 or 2016, running on a Windows machine. And so if you're using a Mac with Excel 2016, you're probably noticing that things are different in the projects. Some things work, some things don't, right? So you need to figure out what your system is, and it'd be a good idea to get that figured out this week. Whatever system is you're going to use for the rest of the time, you continue to use your Mac. You can also try and experiment with the View.uOregon that we discussed in week 1, and that's a good way for you. But you need to figure out what it is that you're going to do here and proceed with that throughout the rest of the term. And of course, if you're having problems, if you're having any problems at all, use the My IT Lab number down here to call technical support. I control the content on my IT lab, but I don't have any control over the way it functions or malfunctions, right? So you need to call technical support right down here to talk to my IT lab if you're having problems. Hey, so here's week 3. What are we doing? We're going to do chapter 2, all right? And so it looks pretty easy, here on the page, but there's actually quite a bit going on here. It's a very involved chapter, and these are fundamentals that we're going to use for the rest of the course. So we need to apply ourselves to this and make sure that we do well. All right, so we have the simulation due Monday morning. And then we've got classes, Canvas activities 3A and 3B, both explaining all these things. And then on Thursday at 8 a.m. we've got the greater project due there, and so maybe go get help in tutoring Wednesday night if you need that. And then of course on Friday there's the concept quiz, and then you'll take your lab this week. And of course this is week 3, so there's going to be no help on this lab. You're going to come into lab, you're going to sit down, you're going to do the work all by yourself. We're not going to help you out at all with anything other than English vocabulary. All right, so you need to study hard, do the lab prep, and be prepared for that lab. There will be assigned seats when you come in to lab this week. All right, so you'll have assigned seats, and you need to locate that before you show up. Okay, so what you want to do is when you look on Canvas under lab seating assignments, you go and you look at your name. All right, it's alphabetical. You look at your name. That's your seating assignment. Then you look down at this little graph down below, and that tells you where the seat is going to be. So you should know that before you even come into lab. All right, and the way that you find that is you go to Canvas, and right down here under Labs, Computer Station assignment, you can see, you click on that, and then you just open up your lab time, and it's going to show you exactly where you need to be sitting. Okay, so figure that out before you come into lab. Okay. Lab 3 is difficult, all right? Lab 2 wasn't that difficult. Lab 3 really is, all right? This is tough stuff this week. You're going to be doing VLOOKUPs, if functions, named ranges, using functions like today, formatting things, using the count function, all sorts of stuff going on that we're going to learn this week that you're going to need to know how to do. And so how are you going to prepare for that? Well, the same way that you could have prepared for week 2. We get the same tools available to us now. We got the Lab 3 prep document and the Chapter 2 summary that you can find all of that in the week 2 introduction on Canvas, right? And so, here's the summary, right? And there's the lab prep. You can look at these things in conjunction to get a really good idea of what it is that you need to know for lab, right? So you want to ID each one of those skills and then use the chapter summary to get that figured out. So for instance, you look down through the instructions there on the lab prep and you come to number 6 and it says, hey, use a VLOOKUP. And you're like, oh, VLOOKUP's tough. Do I really know what that is? Then you go to the chapter summary. It has a definition of it right there. It says, hey, this is what the VLOOKUP is, right? Then we can go and practice the skill, right? Here is the VLOOKUP being used in the skill-based simulation for this week, right? The homework right there. Here's the VLOOKUP being used in the homework, right? In the homework projects. You can go back there. Step number 4, how'd you do a VLOOKUP? This is how we did the VLOOKUP. Ah, okay, go back and look at that. Make sure that you know how to do these things before you come into lab, or you'll fail the lab test, right? Because it's hard. You got to practice for these things, and this is how you're going to do it.